The spiritual path, spiritual awakening, and spiritual exploration without grounding and integration is dangerous. It could become delusion. Let's discuss. Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen dining room. I'm Sarah Evans. I am a channel for the Pleiadians, an Akashic Records reader, a Reiki Master, and yoga teacher. And I'm here for another a spiritual meanderings coffee chat this Sunday. I'm actually feeling massively spring-like. I've got my flowers on, I've got my spring flowers beside me. The garden, shall I show you the garden? It's looking very spring-like with lots of don't know how well you can see this. With a lot of spring flowers, daffodils, hyacinths, tulips coming. Ooh, just lost the focus there. So hi. So I've not done a coffee chat in a little while, and sorry about that. Been busy. The whole fire horse year has been like phew, galloping away, has it not? And I do have a really long list of topics that I want to discuss in these sessions, but I'm actually going to just abandon the list. I really think it's important to talk about this topic, which is the need for grounding and integration on the spiritual path. Okay. Because it's all very well having a wonderful spiritual awakening, connecting with the other side, realizing about all that is, getting deeper in your meditation practice, all of this fun stuff, channeling, even bringing through channel messages, but without integration, without grounding and very regular grounding, that can actually be very problematic. And through my Reiki practice, I have encountered quite a number of people that have come to me with a blown right open crown chakra, a blown right open third eye, but a very weak root chakra. And it's so important to anchor down. And it's more important than ever with the mass awakening of 2026, with obviously if you're here on Into the Blue Channeling, I channel the Pleiadians, and we're talking about how the ETs, how the multidimensionals are making a lot more contact, they're going to be a lot more visible. So, with all of this happening, it's so important to keep in your physical reality and to keep reintegrating, regrounding despite everything that's happening. It's also exciting, Obviously, my brand here on Instagram Channeling is talking about the cosmic, the galactic, the universe, the multiverse, the fact that this is all so expansive and amazing or inspiring. I get it. I channel all kinds of beautiful entities, the angelic realm, all of this fun stuff. But what I talk about less, and maybe I needed to share more, perhaps that's something I'll do because it's a little less sexy to be talking about, oh, I actually, go walking in nature every single day. I love to hug trees and have a lot of grounding foods and spend a lot of time with my child. Actually, being a parent is a great grounding device. I actually call, so I have a young daughter and I call her my present moment maker. And I've called her that for many years now because it's true. When you have a young child, when you have a baby or toddler or young child, they're always dragging you back into the present reality. You're trying to do like a little short meditation practice, you're trying to do a little yoga practice, and oh, in they come, barreling in to bring you back into the now. Right? So anyway, in this session, I'm going to talk a little bit about integration and about grounding and about techniques that you can use. And of course, everybody's different, and you've got to work with what works for you, right? Not everybody loves being out in nature, or, not everybody has access to a garden or access to green outdoor spaces readily. But there's a lot you can do inside your own home, right? And I'm sure there's people here that will be listening to this and just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Because I know, having spoken to a lot of people with private sessions, that a lot of you guys are discovering this because you feel like you don't really belong on Earth, right? I had a session the other day where that came through very strongly, that individual just doesn't feel very comfy on planet Earth in a human body. But you know what? You're not here on planet Earth floating around as an angelic being in an energetic body, are you? You're not floating or here, there, and everywhere. You might be doing an astral traveling, but you're here listening to me in a human body. You're a spirit having a human experience. Okay, so it's so important, despite, all of the fun stuff and all of the, deepening, and that's all amazing and wonderful. But it's important to stay in the human experience as well. I know how boring that might sound to some, but it is important. And again, it reminds me of Akashic Records readings where people are just like, why is this like bad experience happening, or seemingly, quote unquote, bad experience happening? And it's to keep you grounded, to keep you in the human experience so you don't float off, into the ethers. Right? I mean, ultimately, without getting too dark about it, if you are completely unanchored, completely ungrounded, that's a dangerous place to be, right? And it does lead to bad outcomes. Okay. And I don't want any of you to have that sort of experience. Okay. So let's talk about integration for a moment as well, because obviously, we're learning so much, with the awakening journey, I call it like leveling up, that we're having, something else opens up for us and we're just like level up, and then something else happens and you're like, whoa, wait a second, and then you kind of level up. And that's happening gradually, and it happens gradually so it doesn't fry your nervous system. I've spoken to the Akashic Records, and I've, brought that forth, that if you went from 0 to 60 or 0 to 100, just like that, like your physical body would not be able to handle it. Your brain, your nervous system would not be able to handle it. And that's why it kind of comes like this. All right. And through every leveling up and every, aha moment, every time you meditate and have like amazing breakthrough, like, whoa, okay, at that point, I'm getting chills. They're giving me chills as I say this. Is that at that point, it's really crucial to do the integration work. Okay. And when I say integration work, it is like the stepping back and embodiment of the teachings. All right. I'm a yoga teacher, and at the end of every yoga class, we have Shavasana where you lie down and you just like, and we call it integration because you're letting the experience of the yoga kind of integrate through your system, through your physical system, but also mental, emotional, and energetic systems, right? And the same is true of spiritual learnings, of deepening your connection with your spirit team, all of these things. And then you need to basically just integrate and embody that work. It can be as simple as just doing something in the physical experience. You've had this amazing outcome, so you consciously and mindfully go and light some candles and just experience the candle light as a way to connect back with the physical. Something I love to do is aromatherapy. Put some aromatherapy oils in your burner, set it going, and just take in that physical reality. A really common one is journaling. You had an amazing experience in the astral with your dreams. You wake up and you journal about it. You have your manifestation work, and you have this big experience in meditation. Go ahead and journal about it. Things like that. It's about, you've had a really great, Reiki healing, and then you go and sit on a park bench in the sunlight and feel the sun on your face. All right, all of these things are integration techniques. Okay, it's about taking a step back, reflecting. If you keep hitting it hard with more experiences, it is completely overwhelming and it can take you out of your humanness. Okay, and it's so important to stay in your humanness because unless your cat is watching this, you the person that's watching this is having a human experience. Okay. And then, so grounding techniques. So let's talk about indoor grounding techniques because I'm very well having, been chronically ill and in the chronic illness community. I'm very aware that a lot of people, for whatever reason, are not able to go outside. Okay, so what can you do grounding in your own home? Well, a great one is what you eat. Okay. And something I tell people is a great kind of truism is like, if it comes from the ground, it is grounding. Okay. Classic example, potatoes. Potatoes grow underground. Guess what is grounding? And a quick, easy one. Obviously, potatoes are fairly quick and easy, but what a lot of people have in their home are crisps or potato chips, as the North Americans like to say. So having a little munch on something like that is grounding experience. Chocolate is grounding. Obviously, chocolate is processed, but it comes from cocoa beans that are of a tree from the ground. Do you get what I'm saying? So just make sure that you're having plenty of grounding foods every day. I mean, with a healthy, varied diet, you should be anyway. Coffee can be grounding for some, no, not grounding for everybody, but for a lot of people on this journey, coffee can be quite a grounding tool as well. I'm gonna take a sip. All right. So what else can you do grounding in your own house? So, um, bathing. So having a lovely salt bath, um, or having a lovely warm or cold shower. Anything that's connecting you into the physical body and having a physical experience is a grounding experience. So having a lovely salt bath, breaking out your bubbles, get your rubber ducky, grounding experience. Okay. And then of course grounding techniques that we can use through mindfulness practice. And maybe I'll end on that in a moment. Um, so then going outside, obviously. I mean, even just being barefoot, you can be barefoot in your own house, just having your feet planted firmly on ground, right? Spreading your toes, feeling that sensation, feeling the sensation of the heaviness of your body with the gravitational pull, right? Just feeling literally grounded. But I love to walk outside barefoot. Again, not always possible for everybody. But if you have access to a back garden or yard, you can take a step out onto grass barefoot, and that's a really lovely grounding practice. You can also just open the window and listen to the birds and listen to nature sounds. Obviously, you can on YouTube, you can stick on bird sounds or running river or listening to the tides. All of these things are grounding experiences. And I'm not telling you to do anything that doesn't come natural to you because you know what your favorite things are in this topic. I know you know. So I'm just encouraging you to make sure you're doing those. Okay, and doing those every day, particularly if you've had like a mind-blowing or inspiring, oh my goodness, eureka moment in your spiritual journey. It's then so important to ground down, just for your own sleep and rest. Like, if you ever want to sleep again, we just need to calm yourself down. Yeah, in nature, I'm looking out at the woodlands behind my house. So connecting with trees, touching a tree, hugging a tree, it's very grounding. I do enjoy talking to trees. Maybe that's slightly less grounding, but trees are very wise and grounded. They are. You can tell a tree, what's bothering you, and it will help. And even if you're not clairaudient than me and you can't perceive a response, just telling a tree is actually a helpful practice in itself. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious or whatever, go tell a tree. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic slightly. All right, I don't want this to be super long, and I want to just take a moment to do a couple of meditative grounding techniques as well. So, number one, I love to do the 5 4 3 2 1 method. So, we're just going to in our physical reality of here, looking around your room or wherever it is you're listening to this video, I want you to just look and find 5 things you can see. So, 5 things you can see, and just take a look at each one. What's attracting you to that? What colors can you see? What's it made out of? Just looking through and listing 5 things you can see, maybe 5 things that you really enjoy, but it doesn't have to be. Just looking at 5 things you can see in your physical reality of here. Great. And then 4, I'm going to touch 4 things. So it can be as simple as touching the fabric you're wearing, feeling your hair, touching your skin, or it can be the surface you're sitting on, or just touch 4 different things or more, and just feeling their texture. Are they rough or smooth? Feeling, is it cool or warm or hot? Maybe when you're feeling things that something might feel like really nice to you, just kind of being curious, like why does this feel really nice to me? Okay. And then 3, listening. So listening to 3 things in your physical reality. Always there's me, that you can hear. But okay, what's the thing you can hear the furthest away from you right now? And what's something you can hear the closest to you? By the way, that should be your breath if you were still alive. Just experiencing the sounds of your physical reality. All right, 2, we're going to smell. In case you just sense a smell. So smelling 2 things again. You can smell the fabric or smell your, something I like to do is smell my fingers. It can be quite interesting. But to smell, you can smell, some flowers if you have, so whatever's around you, just take a sniff and connecting to, is it sweet smelling? Is it musty? Is it bitter smelling? Is it strong? Is it very weak? Is it very subtle? What does the smell remind you of, etc. All right, then 1. So this is taste. Obviously, if you're sitting right with a coffee, you can taste that. But if you've got nothing around you that you're like actively eating or engaging with, just taste the inside of your mouth. It always tastes like something. It might be a taste of the toothpaste you used or what you last drank. Just see, like, is it a bit bitter? Is it sweet? Hmm. All right. So that's one grounding technique. Another grounding technique is to come back to the breath. Okay. So you can gently, if you wish, you could have your eyes open, or you can gently close your eyes if that feels good to you. We're just going to consciously take a nice deep breath and hold it for a moment, and then slowly breathe out. You'll be mindful of every breath you're taking, just feeling the sensation of breathing in, feeling the sensation in your nostrils, the tingling nostrils, feeling the sensation in your throat, feeling movement in your chest or abdomen. Gently hold it and then slowly breathe out. Feel It's self-deflating. We'll do a few more conscious breaths. Every time you take a nice conscious breath, you're really bringing the attention back to you. Just paying attention to how the breath feels for you today. Maybe you're feeling a bit chesty, a bit tight, and it's hard to take a deeper breath. Maybe it feels really easeful. Just noticing and allowing anything that arises. I'll take one more conscious breath, and as you do that, I want you to consciously relax your whole body. If your hands are tensing, loosen that. If your jaw feels a bit clenched, loosen that. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed away from ears, your belly is soft and relaxed. And slowly breathe out. Gently open your eyes. The great thing about the breath is that as long as you're breathing, it's always available to you. So, and if you're not breathing, then, well, then you are on the spiritual side. But the breath is always here. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever context, you always have your breath as a practice. And I mean, even we'd only took maybe 5 or 6 conscious breaths there, but I'm sure you're feeling a bit more grounded, a bit calmer. And Spirit has told me this, I believe strongly that breath work is like the most powerful tool that we have as humans. The most powerful. All right. I think I'll stop talking at you now. But feel free to put in the comments anything that comes up for you in this, any experiences you'd like to share. Maybe you want to share your favorite grounding technique or integration technique. I would love to hear about it. And apologies as well to, obviously in the global south, you're actually going into the autumn equinox, not the spring equinox. So I just want to acknowledge that because I do know that I have listeners in Australasia, South Africa, South America. So, yeah, obviously this is my lived grounded experience here in the UK, but you might be having a different grounding experience in your physical reality. Okay. And I do have, well, it's actually having today, but obviously this is going out on Sunday. So I have a spring equinox Reiki healing that I've just done. But obviously, if you're going into the autumn equinox, I do have a lovely session recorded for that. I'll put it in the show notes so you can check it out if you're interested. But thank you so much for listening and be well. And I speak to you again soon. And obviously, as always, if you found this content and enjoy it, please do subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It makes a huge difference to somebody like me, truly a huge, huge difference. And I really appreciate it. All right, take care.